day or walk away. I'll stand tall in this hell of fame. Ain't no power higher. We're the outlaws and outsiders.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Heat Check Podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed a new theme song called Outlaws and Outsiders. I can't remember the main guy's name, but it has Travis Tritt, who's a country legend on it. I like it because, me and Sal we're not outlaws, but we're definitely outsiders.
Very much.
So it works. What's up, man? How's your week been?
Man, it's been crazy. It's been great. A lot of things have happened in sports this week. Some good, some bad. It's been a crazy week.
Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott is playing for the Pats. Now Trey Lance is playing for the Cowboys.
Which is weird.
Which
that
doesn't
makes no sense.
At all. One, because I didn't think the Cowboys had the capital to pull it off. And two, as much capital as San Fran invested in Trey Lance, I thought it was going to take at least a first-round pick to get him.
I didn't. The thing that didn't make sense, you gave up so much to draft him. Unfortunately, a couple of injuries set him back, and they just kind of just washed their hands from it without actually giving the science experiment or whatever you want to call it a full-on try. And it seems like they're just going to move along with Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold as a backup, because I'm like, that, to me, that's got to suck for ego-wise. You're drafted third overall in your draft class, and the opportunity was never really performed to what you thought it was going to be. I'm like, he got drafted coming into with an injury. And he played with injuries the first 2 years of his career in the league, so it never flourished. So I'm like, do you count it against him? I don't know, but it doesn't help the perception of what it is. It sucks, but I'm like, I don't know what he's planning on doing now. Like, because it's Dak is the start. Dak has to screw up tremendously in a way of, I don't know.
It has to be something so bad that Dak can't come back from it.
Right.
Like,
and I don't know what
they
that'd be.
They paid that dude. He's making like 40 some odd million a year, and he's got another extension coming up.
And it's not like he's the most terrible quarterback in the league.
From that's exactly what I was gonna say. Since Troy Aikman, he's probably the best starting quarterback that the Cowboys have had. So
it's not like Trey Lance is just going to take over.
No, but
like that.
Trey Lance and I was just thinking about this. Trey Lance and Carson Wentz are the same person.
They came from the same school.
North Dakota State.
They came
both had athletic flashes. Both have
the
arm
potential
talent.
Was there.
Yeah, but
it didn't. Injuries definitely hurt
both of them. And honestly, if Trey Lance doesn't get a chance, I don't think he'll ever be a starter again in this league. Not that he really was ever in the first place, but I don't think he'll be a starter. But
it hurts.
It's not fair to him, because it's not like he got a fair shake. You can't help when you get injured.
This is true.
You also can't be mad at Brock Purdy for coming in and taking the opportunity given to him.
Again, especially when you're in Brock Purdy's position, being drafted Mr. Irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? It's your mindset is gonna assume you're probably gonna be a journeyman. You're not gonna be a starter anytime soon, or something of that nature. So for you to get the opportunity like he did last year and seize it and take control of his career to the point where you became the last pick in the draft to now the starting quarterback to one of the most dominant teams for the next few years. That's not light. That's a gigantic flex for somebody that in Purdy's position. So again, it's unfortunate for Trey Lance to be dealt the cards that he got dealt the last few years. Again, you can't foresee injuries the way that he's been having to be dealt them. Um, I'm hoping that he gets what he needs to get from Dallas, which I don't know what that could be, and he can bounce back. Who knows? It's not saying that his career is over, but I'm like, I don't know what you're expecting for him to do if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you got a backup, but again, what
You had
exactly are
Cooper
you
Rush for
expecting?
that. Yeah, you had Cooper Rush for that
Right.
too, and Cooper Rush went 4-1 last year. So
So I don't know exactly what your expectations are with
yeah,
this Trey Lance. I don't understand the logic behind the trade.
I don't either.
And then especially to one of your conference rivals to the extent of the
You could see him in the
competitive,
conference championship game.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like the potential of the rivalry or the matchups that can be in the playoffs.
And
It's
let's
always
not forget,
weird.
and let's not forget too, Dak is just as injury prone as Trey Lance is. So
It's a
you have
lot.
a if something happens and Dak gets hurt, and for some ungodly reason they make the NFC title game, and it's
You
San
got
Fran and the Dallas. Good
baby, that's
lord,
funny. That is funny. That would be funny.
I would I would hate to see that game. Not even actually, you know what? I'm giving both of those teams way too much credit. Let's call it divisional round.
But
But
it's still regardless. If somehow Dak were to get injured, like you said, and Trey Lance has to take over, and at some point they have to meet up in the playoffs, that is going to be a must watch game right there because the revenge. It's damn near a revenge game for Trey Lance.
yeah, oh, absolutely. I
You
mean,
know, and it's going to be. It,
we'll
I would hope it would live up to the
yeah,
expectations of what it should be if it
we'll
gets to that point.
yeah, we'll see what happens with him. I mean, look,
I don't got my hopes up on anything for him in Dallas, to be honest.
he's not unless Dak gets hurt, he's not starting in Dallas, just like he wasn't starting in San Francisco. So one bad situation to another bad situation.
It
And
is what it is.
Jerry Jones is your owner, you went to an even worse situation. So
Yeah, it's not looking good for him.
yeah. Outside of that, let's see. Eagles are pursuing Jonathan Taylor, which I'm
Who
very
isn't?
happy. Hey, bro. Imagine Jonathan Taylor behind that O line.
I as much as I would like Jonathan Taylor, and it's not to take away from his skills and talent, I am all right with my running back room as it stands right now.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like, I'm not willing to risk adding a fourth
yeah,
and take away from the chemistry that we're building right
yeah.
now with what we have. We got a good rookie. We got two veterans that are solid backs with the rookie
Mhm.
that can take up whatever slack that Herbert or Deontay can't provide. So
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with. uh, I The thing that bothers me is every time, and this is just about every team. Every time a top tier talent goes up on the trading block, everybody and their mama was talking about these are the rumors. We need to go get him. I was like, listen, just because he's a top talent doesn't mean every team needs them. I'm
Yeah.
like, you like calm down. Let's like, can we? It's maybe it's just the the realistic side of me. I'm like, we don't need every top tier talent. If we happen to get him, of course,
Cool.
I'm gonna be excited. Don't
Yeah.
It's not saying that I won't welcome him, but do we need to go chase after him? Because we don't need him. Would we want him? Who doesn't want a player like Jonathan Taylor that has the talent that he has? Of course, I'd be dumb to say that I wouldn't want him on my team.
Yeah.
But do we need to trade our whole
No,
whatever
no,
we
no.
got left? No. Like, let's be
He's
realistic.
got too bright of a future for that. Yeah.
Right. Let's build on what we got, and if there's something else down the road that builds up that we could fine, let's pull the trigger. But like, we don't got to jump on every player that becomes readily available for a trade. Like,
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
that's what's the funny part about, especially like Twitter and shit with these trade rumors is everybody's like, oh, I know the Bears are the same way. The Eagles fans are heavy into this shit. Oh, let's go get Buda Baker. Oh,
Why?
let's go get Roquan doesn't like Baltimore. Let's go take Roquan. I'm like, hold on, wait.
Y'all
We
stacked.
have we have N'Kobe Dean as our starting middle linebacker. You know what position Roquan Smith plays? Middle
Middle linebacker.
linebacker.
There's just certain trades that as much
It
as
doesn't
it
make
would
any
be great, it just why are we chasing after something that's not necessary?
And on top of that, exactly. And on top of that, Why am I gonna pay? I like Roquan Smith. The kid,
Trust
he's
me,
not,
I
it's
know.
not, it's
I
not,
miss him.
he's not super old, but I have Kobe Dean who redshirted all last year, whose body is completely fresh. Why am I gonna go pay somebody who, as soon as he hit Baltimore, was smashing dudes? Hit the wear and tear on his body versus the wear and tear on Kobe Dean's body. It doesn't make sense for me to pay Roquan Smith 5 times as much as I'm paying Kobe Dean, and he's going
Yeah.
to give me half the seasons. So
It's just certain things. I'm like,
I laugh
it
at trades
bothers me.
like that.
It like even with the Chris Jones rumor trade for
Ooh,
us sending, I'm like, me personally, I'm not sending that many draft picks for one player. I'm like, I get he's a top defensive tackle. I get it. I'm not taking away the man had 15 sacks as a defensive tackle. I get it.
do
But
you
he's
guys
also
need
30.
run? Do you guys need run stop help?
I'm like, yes and
But
no.
enough, but enough because of who Chris Jones is. Enough to do you need run stop help enough
Not
to
enough to give
leverage
up
your
that
first and
much
second?
draft.
Yeah,
I'm not, now I my thing is one of them seconds gotta go for me.
yeah.
Me personally, I'm not trying to give up a first and a second in the same draft.
Oh hell no.
I can't do that. I'm not willing to risk that. Um
And Poles is
and
too smart for that.
and then on top of that, you got to understand that if whoever if Kansas City trades Chris Jones away, and this is a gigantic if,
Yeah.
you have to know that the other team, you're going to have to sign this man to a contract extension that he's going to want between 25 to 28 million dollars a year.
Yep. Oh, he said he wants to be the
He
highest
wants to be the second highest paid because Aaron Darnold right now is getting paid 33 a year.
Oh,
And he knows damn well he can't pull that because Aaron Darnold is not on anybody's
nobody's on
level.
Aaron. Yeah, nobody's on Aaron Donald's
This
level.
he got he may have one, he may have a Super Bowl just like Aaron Darnold, but he ain't got them defensive player of the years.
Yeah, which is
And
a big deal.
right. So and the fact that Jones knows that, he goes, I know I'm not going to be the highest paid defensive tackle in the league, but I would like to at least be the second highest. That is a lot of money for somebody in their mid 30s.
It is a whole lot of money, and for somebody who, how do I put it? Chris Jones is not going to be the guy that's going to eat your quarterback every single play, right?
And
Like he's a run stuffing guy. So if you look at the teams who are great against the run, Philadelphia,
and he's going to get double teamed 90% of the time.
which is fine. Shit, superstar player, I want to hold your body. Take this double team and let
So
Jalen
that means
Carter
my
come behind
defense,
you.
right? Absolutely.
But again, he's what, 32,
He's
33?
31.
And he's 6 some odd and weighs 300 some odd pounds. Like
I'm
his
like,
body.
he's still solid. He still got it. I get it.
But what I'm saying is, like, you're 31, I'm 37, right? You're 36.
Correct.
When you hit 31,
Your body starts to
you're
go
not,
down.
you're not in your 20s anymore. Your knees are
And
all
this
jacked
wasn't even
up.
basketball. I'm like, I get basketball is rough on your knees, but you're getting hit.
By other 300
You're
pound men.
constantly
Yeah.
getting smacked by other bodies
Yeah.
that are on the same size as you, if not bigger, tossing you around like rag dolls. And then even when you get in contact with the running back or the quarterback, you're getting hit.
And cheap shotted and
Like,
pulled on and
so
yanked
your
on.
body goes through a lot, especially when you're on the line.
Especially, yes, when you're, I was going to say, when you're that big and
You're
you're not just
you're
that big,
going
you're
through it.
that dominant.
You're going through it.
Yeah. So I like Chris Jones.
It's just too much to one. We're giving him I feel like we're giving too much for him and then giving too much for him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. You're giving Kansas City way too much, and
And
then
then
you're
you're
going to have to
giving
pay
him too
him.
much.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay him way, way too much.
And
And
it's probably going to be a 4 or 5 year deal.
and it's not saying that he doesn't deserve it because of his production. He clearly does.
Let somebody else do it.
This is what I said. Okay. The draft, Jalen Carter was Philly's luxury pick.
Right.
Chris Jones is a luxury to somebody. Unless you are unless you are the worst run defense in the league, he's not worth it.
And it's not to take away from him.
No, and not at all. It's just
I don't want it.
one defensive lineman doesn't have the same effect that one wide receiver does, or one quarterback does, or
I
one tight end does.
me personally, and this is just me, if
Mhm.
I'm investing in anything at this point between now and the trade deadline, once the season starts, I'm looking for offensive linemen, offensive tackles, guards, somebody that's going to be beneficial right now. And it's because I feel like our defense is okay, especially with having a defensive minded head coach. I think our defense can flourish with the pieces we have, but
Mhm.
we need to protect Justin Fields. The defense is fine. But if we can't move the ball and put points on the board once the defense does their job, what good is it? What good
Yeah.
is having somebody like Chris Jones on our squad? Look what happened to Khalil Mack. Yes, our first year was great, but then having somebody of that stature defensively, being a defensive stout team, even if you're it, this
You
isn't Baltimore where that whole defense carried that team to a Super Bowl championship when they beat the Giants back. I think it was like in 2000. That defense won that championship. Ray
Yeah,
Lewis.
their offense was
What
trash.
you telling me you trusted Trent Dilfer to lead your offense? No,
They had one offensive piece, and it was
like
Jamal
you,
Lewis, and that was it.
like right. So I'm like, it, it's just not gonna happen. So
Yeah,
but for me, I wouldn't pull the trigger on either one of those two trades.
it just
It's just demanding too much.
Chris Jones is fantastic, right? Like he's a great guy. Jonathan Taylor, same thing. We've seen him lead the league in rushing. We know what he can do, but here's the problem, right? I would love to get Jonathan Taylor in the Eagles running back room, but
What are you
we
gonna
don't.
give up for him?
Well, that and we don't need him. Like
And again, it's not taking away
no,
from their
it's
talents.
at all. But
It's just you
DeAndre
don't.
Swift, Kenny Gainwell, Boston
When
Scott.
you right, so when you look at your current running back room right now, it's like, do I need somebody like Jonathan Taylor? It would be beneficial, yes. But am I in dire need of this man to be on my roster right now?
Absolutely not. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. People like I see it all the time. Like somebody was like last year when Tyrann Mathieu came available.
Right.
Oh, Eagles need safety help. Eagles need safety help.
Y'all
Eagles,
don't. You
but
don't.
we did. But here's the problem: is we took Tyrann Mathieu would have been great, but you
Right.
know what he wouldn't have done? What C.J. Gardner Johnson did for us: 6 interceptions last year, and we got C.J. Gardner Johnson cheap. Like you can't. I just saying all this to reiterate your point. Like you can't jump on everybody because they're a big name. Big name means big money.
And I don't think that every time you need to jump on everything all the time. It doesn't make sense sometimes.
Yeah, no, not at all. You just
Thank you. We're not recording. We're just recording, but not streaming.
but no, it just doesn't make sense. Everybody wants to grab everybody all the freaking
Yeah,
time.
it doesn't have value sometimes and especially some of these trade rumors be just outrageous. Like you guys be wanting to y'all trying to give up the world for one player, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it ain't that deep to me. But
Back in the day before Ndamukong Suh went to Tampa Bay, the rumor was that he was coming to Philly and that we were going to give up Jeremy Maclin, LaShawn McCoy, and two first-round picks to get him.
and didn't y'all get him like a few years late last year on a cheap
$3 million.
deal
$3 million. I mean, we
for,
ended up
for the
trading LaShawn.
Rolo.
We ended up trading LaShawn McCoy and Jeremy Maclin to the Dolphins. Or Jeremy Maclin got
I
traded.
remember that trade.
Yeah,
I remember that.
for Kiko Alonso. Anyways, all right. So what we're gonna get into today, guys. So today is the 26th. When I text Paul, it was 2 days ago. It was 8:24. If you don't know what 8:24 signifies, or the two numbers apart signify. 8 is the initial league entry number for Kobe, and then 24 was the latter half of his career jersey number. Both numbers, I think, he's the only person in NBA history to have two numbers retired by the same team.
I believe so. And they're
Um,
technically both Hall of Fame careers.
yeah, yeah, they could have been two separate Hall of Fame careers. I have moments and shit that I'll name and see what you remember, but for me, it's just Kobe was the guy that, like, look, Michael Jordan is the GOAT,
Don't ever let it forget.
all time GOAT. But the two players that really had my retarded ass thinking I could go and play basketball was Kobe and AI.
Uh-huh.
Those were my guys. Like AI was so small and just made people look foolish.
6'1".
Kobe,
No, 6 feet tall.
yeah, and Kobe, it didn't matter. You could block him. Kobe's coming again and again and again. You have to murder this dude to stop him. And that's what I loved. That's that Mamba mentality. Those are, Kobe was,
He was different.
yeah, he was a whole different type of dude. Even Jordan has said, like, Kobe used to call me up and ask me about footwork. And he had already won two NBA titles at this point. So when you won two NBA titles and you're still calling people up for advice, you might be,
You're
yeah,
in trouble.
you might be different.
And it's not like you're asking some degular guy. You're asking that guy, the dude, him.
You're
You know what I'm
asking the
saying?
guy that other legends say is the guy.
So it's like, like Kobe was. What's funny, and this is, I don't know if you knew this, but what's interesting about August 24th, clearly it's also, 8 and 24.
Yeah.
But the day before 8/24, 8/23 is his birthday.
Oh shit, I did not know that.
So it's almost like a double, like, got him.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like
Such a Kobe move,
8/23,
dude.
like 8/23, 8/23, Michael, 8/24, 8/24, Kobe. Like you can't ask it for a better type of scenario for somebody that lived, breathed, sweat, bled for this game. And like Kobe was, I'm like, the thing that bothers me is like people like to keep him out of the GOAT conversation. Now for me, Mike will always be my GOAT. And it's not taken away from LeBron or whatever the case is, or Kobe.
But that's who we grew up as the GOAT.
Right. And when people want to keep Kobe out of the top 5 or the top 3, it's like, to me, Kobe is another version of Michael, but longevity wise was there more, in a sense, just because he played 15 years, Kobe played 20. But if you look at Kobe's game, it's almost identical to Michael. So people try to discredit or take away from his career. It's like, you can't tell me anybody that's a professional of their own craft, whatever it is, you idolize somebody to get to where you're at this point, whether it's sports, music, whatever area that you are a pro at. You watch somebody get there before you got there. So you had to emulate somebody. So you're taking away. You can't tell me there's not one athlete in this world that didn't take away from another athlete, whether it's past, present, whatever the case is. There's just no way. Because it's like,
if it works, why am I not going to take it and use it? It's the simplest answer in the world. Like if the footwork,
the cheat code's in front of me, you telling me I'm not going to use it?
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
And I'm like, as Kobe, he got the opportunity to play with Michael, right before he retired the second time.
Yeah.
And then again in Washington. And you get to pick the guy that you idolized growing up.
Yeah.
Not just while you're playing, but even after you play. Like, this is your guy.
Yeah.
Not many people can be like, I leaned on him and he made me who I am. Physically, literally, spiritually, mentally, like
Everything.
everything. You know what I'm saying?
Everything. I mean, Kobe was the guy that my favorite moment of Kobe came from that the Netflix documentary where they're all talking about the 2008 Beijing
Yeah.
Olympics.
Uh-huh.
And Kobe is like, you know what? Give me the ball. I'm gonna set this motherfucking tone. And LeBron, and again, I'm paraphrasing, but LeBron was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "You see Gasol? I'm gonna run right through his fucking chest." And LeBron
He's
was
like,
like,
but that's your teammate.
"That's your teammate. What are you
I'm gonna
talking
run
about?"
straight through his chest.
And he did it.
And
And
I
even
watched that
Gasol,
documentary.
they emailed Pau Gasol on the documentary, and Pau looked up and was like, "Oh, that's the Kobe that I have to play." Like even Pau, who to this day still takes care of Vanessa, still takes care of his other daughters. Pau and Kobe had a great relationship,
Yeah.
but Pau needed to know
At this stage right here,
this is me.
you're a competition.
Yeah,
We not teammates right now. And
yeah.
I'm gonna run straight through your chest.
And he did it, and it set the tone for those 2008 Olympics to where
And not even just that. There was another part in that documentary. I'm glad you brought that up. Because when most of the guys that were on that team, like LeBron, Melo, Bosh, all of them, they were still like somewhat young because that was before LeBron went to Miami. That was a
yep.
couple years before he went to Miami. And they were all still young. You know what I'm saying? Like mid 20s, stuff
Oh,
like
you
that.
talking about where Kobe goes out with it? Yep.
Right. So he's like, I'm gonna be in the gym at 5 o'clock. And Melo's like, who? We just got back from the club. And they saw his mindset. Like, listen, y'all can go out. I'm gonna go do what y'all want to do. But if y'all gonna do what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see y'all in
Yep.
the weight room and on the flow
Like,
at 5 o'clock.
yep.
And
We did what you guys wanted to do.
it changed their mindset.
We
Because
did
it's
what y'all
like
wanted to do, and I
he's
showed you as
he's
Kobe, I can go do
I'm
that.
still gonna do that. And I'm gonna still
But
show up at 5 o'clock in the morning and put in work.
while y'all are puking, I've got my 2 hours of sleep. I'm up, I'm showered, I'm probably in the gym before all of you fuckers, and I'm gonna work harder than all of y'all. And I went hard in the club just as hard as you guys did.
So
Kobe
where
was
y'all at?
different. He's so different. Like,
So I'm like, and he said that one of the reasons why he joined the Olympic team was because he's like, I'm tired of watching y'all lose.
yeah, he said it was embarrassing.
He's like, I'm not with this.
No. And Kobe, I'm telling you, I'll tell you another incident, and you'll remember this. April 12th, 2013, tearing both of his Achilles, coming back in the game and
The
making
shooting
two
free
free
throws.
throwers.
Yeah.
What the? That's not. It's not human. Like that's a different
And he
type.
walked off.
Yes, he didn't walk off completely under his own power, which is understandable since he tore
But
both
he,
Achilles. But he walked off the court, which is insanity.
I
Um,
couldn't walk off when I tore my ACL, let alone my Achilles.
yeah, no shit, right? The thing that holds your foot to your leg.
And he's just over here just limping.
Yeah. Let's see what else I got. In March or February of 2003, Kobe had 9 straight 40-point games. His average was 40.6 points per game in the month of February of 2003. That's what's crazy is that's not his only records for stuff like that. In March of 2007, he was the second player ever in NBA history to do 4 straight 50-point games.
That man
And
was
then
he was crazy.
yo, I mean, his, like, let's see what else. 61 points against the Knicks in 2009.
He dropped 81 on the Raptors.
Yep. Kobe outscores the entire Dallas Mavericks team in the first half, 62-61 in 05. The dude outscored an entire team. They said in the highlight video, they said a Laker didn't score the rest of the game besides Kobe.
And I think that was around the time where everybody was calling him a ball hog and stuff like that. However, if you got a bunch of scrubs on your team,
if you're a ball hog and it works and you get to the playoffs, hey, shut the fuck up. I signed your paychecks. Leave me alone.
You're getting paid because of me.
Yeah. Shh. Big boys are talking now. Leave us alone. His final career game,
You
2016,
dropped 60 on Utah.
dropped 60 on Utah.
You said, shut up and let me play.
Mamba out. Done. And then, of course, the 81 points in 2006, second only to Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game.
And even to this day, Jalen Rose can't live this down. And this man, the fact that you made a commercial to make fun of Jalen Rose, you can't never live it down. You let this man drop 81 points on your body.
Who is 81? Who did they play in that game?
The Raptors.
The Raptors? That was 81 in the Raptors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. Kobe was a different guy, man. Like
His just mental was built different.
Yeah.
Because he even said it. He said that if Shaq would have had the same mentality as me,
oh my God,
we could have had 10 championships easy.
Can you imagine if Shaq had the Mamba work ethic?
That dominance of mental stability.
They would have never broke up. They would have been the Patriots of the NBA.
It would have been insane to see that. And
Bro.
I probably would have hated life.
Oh, everybody would have hated life. Like
I would have
I'm
hated
not a
life.
Lakers fan. Yeah, but look, you take two of the most dominant players of their era in Shaq and Kobe.
That would have worked for years.
If you took Kobe's work ethic and put it into Shaq, I can't imagine how much longer Shaq could have played. And I can't imagine how many MVPs just the two of them would have won. And scoring titles and defensive teams and, all these other accolades. It
would have been unfair.
Fuck you, Shaq, for being so lazy is basically what I'm saying. All due respect. But you could have
it would have been different. It would have been scary.
You could have had 10 titles. I'm just saying. But and this will kind of wrap up the Kobe point. You and I are both girl dads.
Yep.
Kobe was a girl dad and this is where I'm going to get emotional. Kobe was a girl dad and was insanely dedicated to his daughters.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's how he passed away. Taking a helicopter to a tournament that he was coaching in.
Yeah.
And you always saw Kobe with his daughters. And you always saw how dedicated of a dad he was. And it makes it made me, it's still thinking about it makes me go, I hope I'm half as good of a dad to my daughter as he was.
It's heavy, man. It's because I'm like, my child, she's 9. I'm like, I wanted a girl whenever me and her moms got pregnant with her. I wanted a girl first. I don't know why. I just wanted me a little princess to have around.
Because you're smart.
And does my child get on my nerves? Tremendously. But I wouldn't trade that little girl for anything in this world, because the joy that she brings me there's just nothing to it outside of my wife. Like there's and knowing the kind of relationship he had with his girls, with all 4 of them, it shows you, like, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, there was some times where I sure as hell didn't like him in his early career days because he was just a butthole.
Yeah.
But it's almost like with the same thing with LeBron. It's like you can't hate the man, because especially towards the end of Kobe's career, he was very intentional with what he did. And then even when you see it, whenever the girls were on the sidelines, the kind of, the bond that they had, like, them girls loved their daddy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
And he was super proud of them girls.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like for him to go out the way that he did, with Gigi like that, I'm like, it sucks, because you got his youngest two girls that are still babies. They're not like they're around.
Doesn't he have three?
He has four girls total.
Yeah,
He
one
has
was a baby when him and
right.
Gigi
She
died.
was
Yeah.
she was like maybe a year, maybe at the most 2 years, but I think she was a year when they passed away. So it's like that's rough, man. Like to know that you never get a chance to see your father again as a newborn. Like I don't my child 9 and I don't want my child to live without me. Let alone you're barely learning how to walk and now you never get to the only time you get to see your dad is through pictures and memories that you never get to experience because you got to live it through your other sisters that got to live.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to make it seem like some butthole move because like why did my sisters get to be with my dad and I didn't. I'm like it was hella unfortunate. And even I to this day I was talking with Joel yesterday about it. Like it still feels weird because this has only been going on 3 years since he's passed, and it still feels it's weird. This man passed away at 41 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like that's super young, and it wasn't because of some cancer or some health issues.
Nope.
It was a tragic, like it was just unexpected, and
Pure
it was, and it's like 41 years old, my God. Like you literally just retired a few years ago, and now you're gone.
Yeah, you were supposed to have at least another 40 or 50 years left. He
Like,
the impact, dude, I remember being at home. I was awake early and I got the news on Twitter that Kobe's dead. And I was like,
yeah, man.
what are you talking about? Like, I just saw Kobe coaching his daughter's soccer team. What are you talking about? Or basketball team.
It
It
was it was weird.
it hit, bro. It hit. Kobe Bean Bryant, that guy who, for me, he made the game exciting. Like him and Shaq, that era of Lakers was like, oh my god, this is what
That level of
basketball.
dominance.
Yes, this is what basketball at its finest. When you're a whole head and shoulders above everybody else in the league, this is what that looks like.
Yeah.
Um, Rest in peace, Kobe, man, and
Yeah.
Gigi, and the rest of the people who are on that helicopter. Like, sad, bro. And the sadness is not going to stop there.
Yeah.
This week was yesterday, day before,
Yeah, the
day before yesterday. The wrestling world lost a literal giant. Those of you who watch wrestling will know who it is, especially when I play the theme song that I'm getting ready to play. Those who don't, I'll talk to you about it in a second. That's right. Bray Wyatt passed away. Wyndham Rotunda, all of
Man,
36 years old.
it was when you sent me that text message, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
It was I'm like, regardless of how you feel about his character on WWE as the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, Eater of the World, regardless, that man was a creative genius. He
Mhm.
knew how to draw you in, whether it's to hate him, love him, regardless. That man was a storyteller and a damn good storyteller, you know. that whole character of the Wyatt family to the Fiend, and even from his last return before he passed away, like he was one of a kind. And like at first, when he made his debut on the main roster with the Wyatt family with Eric and Luke, I was like, what the hell is this? This is hella weird. Like this some creepy cults type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like after a while, you're like, yo, these jokers is one hella entertaining,
And smart.
hella committed to these characters, and it's like I can rock with this. And
Yeah.
then even after the Wyatt family split up and they did their own things and stuff like that, the fact that he was able to still hold on to that somewhat of the same type character, keep it in the back, but still keep it,
Mhm.
somewhere in the fold, you know. I wasn't prepared for that news. I'm like, he's one of the good ones. And for just to be 36 years old, I'm 36 years old. You know what I'm saying? And it's like for him to have, for the way that he passed, knowing that I have also heart problems, it's very it hits a little closer to home for
Yeah.
me. You know what I'm saying? With all the stuff that I've had going on with my heart, it's like you double back and you're just like, yo,
It's
like this
crazy.
man was an athlete. You know what I'm saying? He trained. He was
It
a
was
professional.
Yeah, and was getting in better shape and was losing
And
weight,
to
and
see him to go out like this, it's just
it's
like
so crazy, man. When I saw the news, it's the same thing like Kobe. I was like, "What are you talking? There's no way." Like he was supposed to come back.
I
Like
was expecting him to come back within the next couple months or something like that, and do some whatever. Because I was still intrigued with the whole,
him and LA
Uncle.
Knight were supposed to do something like
Right.
that.
I was still trying to figure out this Uncle Howdy stuff.
Yep.
Everything was supposed to come, and it's just like we're never gonna get that finished story.
Yeah, I mean it happens too much. Like I'm gonna say, so I was listening to some quotes last night uh from Bray Wyatt, and I could name you any line from any promo every time that he talked, and it would be fire.
Right.
But this is my favorite line that I've ever heard. I think in general, like in life, period. I am the color red in a world full of black and white.
I remember that line.
It's so simple, right?
I remember that line.
But the visual is so powerful because think about the color red and how bold that color is versus the
And
black.
especially in a black and white, you're gonna stand out. That means you're just not normal.
He The first time I saw him, it was obviously I knew who he was. He was Husky Harris. He had been with Nexus, but the first time I saw him come out and I heard that song, I said, "Oh, this is different."
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not. It's not super amped up. It's not. It's not super moody either. Like it's not like angsty like Papa Roach or super heavy metal or super rap music or
Right.
anything like your typical wrestling theme. It's a folk song with a little
Like a
yes.
creepy type folk song. But
It's
it wasn't like overboard.
no, it's got the perfect vibe. And then when you listen to his vignettes, when you listen to the promos and talk about I'll bring you to the promised land and I'm the eater of worlds and the evolution, like you said, to go from Bray Wyatt in NXT, even before the Wyatt family,
Right.
when he had the butcher apron on and he had a mask and then going getting Harper and Rowan and doing that whole evolution. Dude, those vignettes are some of the
Yeah.
smartest
The
shot
rocking
things
chair with the lamp.
in the house in backwoods
Just,
Louisiana.
right.
Like it's perfect. And then That's all before you see him. He's this giant, like 6'4", 285-pound man with this long, stringy, greasy, swampy hair and this really like surprisingly well kept but long, ratty beard.
Yeah.
And he has a Hawaiian shirt on. And you're like, what the fuck is the Hawaiian shirt for? Like just and then you come to realize throughout his character, oh, it's just to fuck with you. Everything he does, from the fedora that he wears to
Yeah.
the rocking chair to the lent, everything is meant to fuck with his opponent. Everything. And then he still hasn't spoken. Let
He's
him
just
pick up,
looking at you.
just let him pick up a mic. And then he's going to tell you how you're wrong, how you can repent your sins, how but he does it in a way where it's like, you sound like Jim Jones to me. You sound like a cult leader. You sound like, without being irreverent of people's religious beliefs, if that makes any sense.
And still pissing everybody off.
Still, like, you never come out and disrespect God or Allah or Buddha or anybody's religious faith. But
He's just trying to let you know, I can free you.
yeah, you take it and you make you. This dude he's got the whole world in his hands over. Last night, did you watch the tribute last night?
I watched part of it. I liked the last part with LA Knight.
Dude, well, at the end.
Oh, yeah. Where they
Where
had it on the Jumbotron and then they had the lamp in the ring.
Yes.
I thought that was the best way to end this last night.
WWE gets a lot of slack for a lot of shit. But I would tell you what, they pay tribute like nobody. Their media department, dude,
But just only having 24 hours to do it.
Dude, their packages that they do, it's not hard work because it's like a 3-minute package, right? You just got to take highlights and edit it.
But they did it.
My brain is nerding out now because of the school, but
they still
they
flexed.
killed it.
They flexed hard.
Absolutely. You know what's funny is, you know who they use to make those packages? People from my school in my program, so they don't pay people. Yeah,
I'm
which
like,
is smart.
it makes sense.
It makes smart, and they have editors or whatever.
But it was I'm like, of course we would have want something real extravagant. However, for having 24 hours to put something out, you scrap a whole show that's already been pre-scripted and everything. You said, hey, scrap everything. We're doing this for Bray and Funk, and we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, it was done really well.
And even speaking of LA Knight, the way that he ended that show before everything went out.
Yes, sir.
I'm like, if he wasn't already over, LA Knight is all the way over now.
Well, see, and this is what's great about LA Knight. Anytime you see him in backstage, and like, there, for some ungodly reason, on one of their interview sets, there was a Wu-Tang symbol, and LA Clan is like, or LA Clan. Whoa,
that's a lot.
LA Knight was like, he mentioned Wu-Tang, like he's dropping rap lyrics with Hit Row. Like, if you guys didn't see it, what Paul is talking about, what PR is talking about, is at the end of his promo, LA Knight looked dead in the hard cam, which is the camera that you're going to use the most often. Dead in the hard cam, took the mic and said, Miz, a great man once told me, the next time you see me, run. And as soon as he said it, crowd popped.
I ain't never heard a pop like that in so long.
And I guarantee you, Bray, and wherever he's at, Bray popped. Bray was like, you motherfucker, stealing my shit.
But I gotta find the video and I gotta send it to you. Somebody took that clip from that last night.
Yeah.
And right when LA Knight was gonna say run, they edited and put Bray Wyatt's face saying run. And I'm like, my guy.
Yeah.
This right. I'm telling you, they did good. Now, I saw a lot of people last night and this morning talking about that WWE did half-ass work last night, and that some people are like I just seen this other dude talking about how do you know Bray Wyatt personally for you want to celebrate his death? First of all, number
It's not
one,
about that.
number one, for having 24 hours to set up a whole tribute show, you got to be kidding me. That's
Yeah.
just number one. It was good enough for me. You know what I'm
It was
saying?
good enough for everybody. I mean, the superstars
99%
who
of the world was
participated.
all right.
Yeah. Fuck out of here.
Two, most people that we celebrate when they die outside of our family, when we celebrate or we mourn a celebrity's death, 90% of us don't know them personally.
Yep.
Of course not. But, like, say, for example, for me, if Adam Sandler were to pass away tomorrow, he is my all-time greatest comedian actor for me.
So it would devastate you.
It would hit me to my core. Have I ever met the man? No. Do I watch all his movies whenever I freaking feel like it? Yes, because I grew up on Adam Sandler as a
Yeah.
kid. And as an adult, I'm a grown-ass kid. So if he were to pass away right now, that would hit my childhood.
Yep. When
You know what I'm
Eddie
saying?
when Eddie passed away, it was that
That hit
big,
us. It hit us different.
bro.
Eddie Guerrero's passing was tragic.
I
Nobody
still
saw it coming.
I still can't talk about him without getting emotional. And it's again, I've never met the man, but
This
I
is your childhood.
it's not just that too. It's a whole different thing for me. Like I grew up in a family full of addicts, and to see Eddie make it back and get through it, it's Eddie.
Like that promo that he had with Brock Lesnar,
Oh yes,
that one hit different.
yeah. I tell people this. I got a chance. I'm very, very lucky. I got a chance to meet Eddie Guerrero's daughter, Shaw.
Okay.
Beautiful human being. And I got a chance. I gave her a painting and the whole thing, signed it for her and everything. And I got to tell her, like, your dad is the reason that I made it before the military. Like, if it wasn't for Eddie and me seeing Eddie conquer his demons, like I don't know where I would be. Now, granted, I had loving parents who were behind me and stuff like that, but like I was an asshole as a kid. And I not only was I an asshole as a kid, I was a drug using asshole as a kid. I was a cokehead as a kid. And legit, before I went to the military, it was really I sat down one day and watched a wrestling match with my younger brother, and it was Eddie versus Rey Mysterio. It's one of the reasons this is my favorite match. Halloween Havoc 1997.
Uh-huh.
And then the next week I watched, I think it was like a SmackDown or something like that. And Eddie's there and he's completely different. The way he talks, how verbal he is, how expressive he. So essentially you could tell the difference between using Eddie and clean Eddie, right? And that clean Eddie is what motivated me to get into the military, to get over my shit, to get stuff done. Like Bray Wyatt's death isn't quite that profound for me. But I will tell you that this man is, if you listen to any of the interviews or Alexa Bliss's video or Braun Strowman's Instagram post or
Randy
anything
Orton.
like that, you will see how loved Bray Wyatt was.
And he loved the kids.
And he was such a good dude. Such a good dude.
He would
Like,
definitely go out his way to take pictures and sign stuff for the kids. If there was anything that he loved to do, is to put smiles on kids' face before the show, after the show. Like it's evident that you could go anywhere on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and you look up Bray Wyatt, you see him doing so much for the kids.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're entertainers and they're here to entertain us. But these kids, when you could put a smile on these kids' face by just signing a belt, a t-shirt, a mask, whatever the case may be, you change these kids' lives. And if there's anything that you can definitely say is Bray Wyatt definitely loved the kids and and his kids. And it sucks because his kids are young. I'm like, again,
Yeah.
it goes back to the Kobe situation. He's leaving a bunch of little kids behind, unfortunately, because these aren't deaths that they inflicted on themselves. These are unexpected deaths that they had no control over
Yep.
on how it happened. And it's like,
36 years old. Who thinks you're gonna have a heart attack?
I'm not trying to have one, and
I just
it's hard.
I'm so sad. Like and obviously we should mention Terry Funk too, hardcore legend, hardcore icon. But this Terry Funk was the era before us watching. Actually, it was probably two eras before us watching wrestling.
He was like the 60s or 70s or something like that. For me, and it's no disrespect to the Funk family. Condolences. However, if I had to pick one or the other, whichever one's gonna hit my chest harder,
It's Bray.
Bray's gonna do a little different for me. He's gonna tug on my heart a little bit just because we saw him again from Husky Harris
Yeah,
to
all the
this.
way up.
We saw that evolution,
Yeah,
and to see it be cut short at such a young age, it hurts.
yeah, it's insane. And Terry Funk was my grandmother's era of wrestling. Like that, I love Terry Funk for the contributions that he made as in ECW and WCW and the Attitude Era as Chainsaw Charlie with Mankind. Um, but yeah, Bray and Kobe were on my heart this week, especially obviously Bray is
Yeah.
brand new, passing away, and I just felt like we should talk about it. I mean, there's obviously All In is going on when next week. I don't know.
I'm not worried about that right now.
AEW All In. Hold on. Just so I know. I'm out of that show. I'm probably not going to watch it at all, actually, just because Will Ospreay's there and he's August 27th. So it takes place tomorrow.
Yeah.
Watch it, don't watch it, enjoy it, don't enjoy it. That's, it is what it is. I wish everybody luck. They're performing in Wembley. Supposedly got 90,000 people sold out for the stadium. So
I'm happy for him.
congratulations. They're supposed to do a big tribute to Bray tomorrow too. I know they did something on Collision tonight, but I just don't know.
I saw, who was it? Jericho did a little thing
Yeah.
at his concert in London with Fozzy and them. I was appreciative that they let Eric Warren go on WWE. I would have liked for him to say something or do something, but I get it.
The fact that he was even there is
It's more than enough for me.
Yeah.
And that's enough respect from both sides to allow that to happen. Let the bigger picture be versus the egos, get in the way of what's going on.
Yeah, because when a death, I mean, look, realistically, wrestling is like the military, right? Like everybody knows everybody. Eventually, you're around.
Even though we poke and joke at other branches and stuff like that, we're one. At the end of the day, we're all fighting for the same reason, trying to get to the same result. And with wrestling, we're regardless of what company we like the most, we're still a fan of the sport. You know what I'm saying? And when somebody like this tragically passes away, I would hope to put those egos to the side and those idiotic ideas that people have, and be like, yo, this is one of the young ones that should have had plenty of time to do more damage into the game.
He should have had 50 more years of life,
Like,
at least. That's
so
insane.
For him,
it just it hit hard, and there's only two celebrity deaths that I've ever cried at, and one obviously was Eddie, and the other was Paul Walker. But this one hasn't quite made me cry yet. I've gotten emotional for his kids. His young wife JoJo I think she's like 33 or 34 now. She has two kids to care for on her own. Like,
did you see what WWE did though?
Yes, absolutely. If you guys don't know, WWE has pledged that every item that sells that has anything to do with Bray Wyatt, all of the proceeds will go to his family.
Like, that's super legit.
I mean, you can say whatever you want about Vince and his past shit and all of that. But
with discounts.
that's how you take care of people. AEW did the same thing for Brody Lee
Yeah.
when he passed away. This is how you take care of people.
And then
The
Roman
old
Reigns' little
Vince
punk self.
Yeah, that old way Vince McMahon bullshit. Once you leave the company, you don't exist. No, it doesn't work anymore. Um, guys,
I,
we're gonna,
I truly appreciate WWE for doing that. So
yeah,
I just wanted to put that out there.
me too. Guys, we're gonna make this episode a little bit short. This wasn't something that either PR or myself really prepared for. We just kind of wanted to come out and say what was on our hearts and speak our minds a little bit and kind of let everybody know, like, look, man, we don't know Bray. We never got a chance to meet Bray. That doesn't mean it doesn't affect us. And if
Right.
you're affected by this, it's okay. It's okay to be affected by this. Like, just because you didn't know this person doesn't mean that you're not allowed to feel him. He was a fucking human being first and foremost. You're allowed to feel sad that another human being passed away.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I've had it all day on Twitter from people. Oh, you're mourning this guy like he was your best friend. It's not about that shit. It's about him being a human being. Like, just be a decent person.
We're
Man.
celebrating a human.
That I happen to enjoy his work. It's like
he was entertaining for me.
When Kobe passed away, they
The world
filled the
mourned.
center up. And the sports wasn't the same. When Kobe passed away, sports wasn't the same for 6 months.
COVID happened, so it was a lot going on that year. So
Crazy.
it was. I'm over people trying to downplay the passing of them, talking about this. You don't know them. He don't know you.
Yeah.
Listen, how you want to mourn somebody's death is your business. How we over here on Heat Check, we're gonna celebrate you.
Yep.
And we're gonna talk about your good times and all the memories that you gave us.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what people like Kobe and Bray, that's what they're here on this earth to do, is to give us memories, to give us moments to forever remember. And that's what they did. Whether it was short-lived or not, we have memories that they gave us that can't be taken away, no matter how hard they try.
Yep. And it's things that I can share with, we can share with our kids and say, look, dude, you may not be into what I'm into. You may not be watching basketball. You may not be into wrestling, but sit down with me and watch this and let me tell you why. And that's what I did with my dad. That's what I did with my uncles. That's what I did with everybody. So you guys, like always, if you're struggling with your mental health, please hit me or PR up, especially now. Like, this year sucks. Bob Barker's gone. Terry Funk's gone. Bray Wyatt's gone. Like, we've lost so many good people in the last, what month is it? August, 8 months.
Yeah.
Just know that you have somebody to talk to in both PR and myself. And if you need to talk, hit us up. We are on Twitter at Your Heat Check. We're on TikTok at the Heat Check Podcast. We're on YouTube, Heat Check Podcast. We are on Instagram at Your Heat Check. We have a Teespring store that has our merch. All of that is on the Twitter page at Your Heat Check. There will be a Linktree link that has everything that we do: merch, YouTube, a link to my mixtape, stuff like that. If you want to buy the mixtape, you can get the mixtape for free and download it. Or if you want to, you can kick me 10, 20 bucks, whatever you want to do for it, on Bandcamp. We love you guys.
Yes.
We are coming up on over 1,000 downloads.
What?
Yeah.
Dang, son.
And I don't say those numbers on here so people can be like, oh, he's bragging. Look, I know what, in the big scheme of things, I know 1,000 downloads doesn't mean shit.
It means a lot to me.
But to us, 1,000 downloads means that 1,000 people have heard what we've had to say.
On purpose.
On purpose. They chose to do it. So if you choose to listen to what we say, we love you. We appreciate you. And it may not be Friday next week. It may not be Saturday next week, but we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Y'all take it easy.
Be easy. Peace.
Peace.